Me. Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classic Novels. Me. This episode number 27. 2751, Doubleshot 2641. Basically, I'm using stuff in the Polar app, and pretty much everything is like a lot of finales. Yes. First up, we're talking about the final trade of the collect issues from Jeremy Adams' run for The Flash. The Flash, Volume 20. Yes, Volume 20. Time Heist, which contains issues 757 to 800. But it does not contain the entirety of 800. Nope. Mostly put, here's what happens over the course of these few issues. First story is called Misadventures in Babysitting. So it takes place after the Flash. We see the Legion of Headquarters, where you have Kid Flash is looking over Legion of Headquarters and seeing Maxine and Jay and Irie, who go to see Ace, and they end up basically with Nyes Maroni and seeing his group. May have Doc Nightmare, Reverse Rod, Mineral Man, Foul Play, and Heatwave Jr. Dr. Nightmare. Reverse Rod, that's interesting. Probably a version by Monkey version Reverse Flash. Mineral Man is obviously Anal Man. Foul Play is take on Mr. Terrific. And Heatwave Jr., well, it's take on, Heatwave. And of course, then we see like in a portal this weird creature that looks like a swamp thing. Or actually not swamp, it looks like a man thing. So Mr. Terrific helps out. And then my friend Timmy would love to see this. The return of the Super Sons, Robin and Damian. They come and help everybody out, and everybody gets freed. And of course, everybody's in costume, like where are the kids, and everybody beats it. And of course, we have a big blast with this issue. Yeah, then of course the issue ends with the Super Sons being absorbed into an orb picked up by Granny Goodness. Yes, and then in 498 we have the debut of Wade West. Linda and Wally's third child, a boy. Yep, they have a third child. And of course, you have Wally working with Mr. Terrific. And then, of course, we see this lady's like, oh, Granny. Yeah. I'm like, does Lena not notice the fact that this nurse is calling herself Granny? Yeah, basically, his baby, of course, Wade gets kidnapped by Granny Goodness. And then, of course, it explodes Mr. Terrific's lab, which brings on our man of the 1851st century. Which, this is something. This is probably the first time post-Flashpoint the guy has appeared. And of course, I mentioned about the character Extinct. He used to be Hawk. The whole thing was Zero-Hour stuff, which is interesting. Of course, maybe with hyperspace. And bring about this device. And also, we see return of Goldbug. Yes, Goldbug. Of course, Wally mentions that, she saved his son. And, I'm in the future. Yeah, and then, of course, you fly on the Terrific ship. Which, I believe this is a ship first rocked up in the Terrifics. And Metamorpho's here for reasons. And it's funny to think of Goldbug just pulling apart the Plastic Man. And of course you have Wally B. I think he's Captain Picard says, make it so. And A says, nerd. Oh, it's so funny. Yes. And then we see Wally's old friend from early issues who basically is taking Mr. Terrific, Hulk Hogan, and wearing a version, the Omniverse Championship belt. Well, it looks like an old version of the Intercontinental Championship. And at least $7.99, where the bridge of the ship looks a little different. Yeah, then they're joined by the Terrifics off panel, and by the creatures like giant monkeys. And eventually, of course, they deal with Granny Goodness and her people. It's like Granny Goodness. Well, all his son Granny Goodness, give back his baby. Nah, I'm hold on to it. And of course, they fight. It's a big, massive brawl here, and then for some reason, like, we have the Anti-Monitor showing up. Like, what the heck? And he's smiling. Like, what the heck? More massive fighting here, and of course, we summon the Furious. And Wally gets back his child, and Granny Goodness is mad. Yep. Like, where's Granny? Yeah, apparently the Furious actually is like a kid version of the Furies. You thought you were stolen, like, you're someone's out. He's an orphan? No, he's my son. You're sons of others. What do you see, Willie? Scan him. He's my son. Yeah, this kid here is Mr. Terrific's son. And the other kid? Yeah, unlike Randy, my words were something. What's he here? This is unexpected. Yeah, the Terrifics beat the Anti-Monitor. So, and then Wally, for some reason, puts on his old Flash costume from the Dan Abnett run for Titans, and grew his hair again. Oh yeah, and the baby's got a little bigger. But I got a question though, like, okay, so find out that apparently this kid's actually Mr. Terrific, so that's interesting. So, the other kids, I'm not sure who they belong to. They don't say here. And then we cut to seeing a few villains at a warehouse. One looks like Goldbug. Goldface, excuse me. We have the Bug-Eye Bandit, Ferryman. It's the guy with the. It's this guy here. That's in the guy with the red suit. The Puppeteer and old Green Lantern villain, who's brought in pages of Super Sons and Mind Dancer. Those of you thinking, who the heck is Mind Dancer? She's no Booster Gold villain that for some reason, basically Jeremy has brought her in here for this one last issue. And then we have flashbacks of Flash family, mentions the Condiment King, Count Vertigo. And by the way, we're in issue 800 now. And then we have Max and Mirror, which is set between issues 6 and 7 of The Flash, where basically Mirror Masters trap Wally West and Max Mercury in a mirror, and the whole thing with Sam Scudder, who I believe was the second. I think pre-Flash, but I think he was the. Oh yeah, he was the original. He was the original one of Mirror Master. And we have Flash Family, which is all about basically the Flash family itself. Then we have Blitzblock, which is all about Hunter Zolman, reviewing the worst moments of his life, including a moment where he's put in timeout, where he's supposed to sit in his chair, all because he broke a horse. That was his punishment, being put in timeout. Yeah. Oh, by the way, who does these stories here? Let's see. Don't Come to Central City. That's Jeremy Adams. Max Mirror had something by Mark Waid. First Flash story he's done since like 2008. Of course, Joshua Williamson may get a brief return in the book with Commander McKeon on the artwork. Blitzback, which is Jeff Johns. First time he's with a Flash book since 2011. And yeah, that's pretty much the book in a nutshell. It's an absolute really good book. I do find it interesting, though, for 800 we celebrate basically as well Wally. So we bring in Josh. Okay. Jeff Johns, Mark Waid, cool. Um, you do realize DC you're missing a few writers here for this big kind of issue. Like, here's some people basically that you could include it but you didn't, and these people wrote Wally West Flash. Those people being, or these people were not here for some reason for this 800 issue. Francis Manapul by Mucciolo. They don't have a story here. This might make the own issue for Who's Flame. Ron Venditti, who created Ace, does not have a story here. Let's see, who else? Mike Barron, the guy who was the first guy who wrote Wally West Flash after Crisis of Nerves. William S. Loves. Grant Morrison, Mark Millar. Surprised these guys didn't come back, but yeah, this book is fantastic. Give this book a 10 out of 10. And final thoughts on Jeremy Adams' run for The Flash. He did a great job with this book. Yep, great job. No denying that. And I do recommend checking it out because this run is fantastic. And Sally put basically with new writer, we're going to relaunch it, but this makes total sense. Yeah. So, alright, next up we have is Dr. Aphra Volume 6 Ascendant. Yeah, this collects issues of Dr. Aphra Volume 2, issues 26 to 31. Written by Alyssa Wong, artwork by Mikhail Jung. There's pretty much all the issues except for 29 is Necha Bachos. So, we still deal with this Spark Eternal stuff in here where she's possessed by Spark Eternal. And basically her supporting cast is trying to free her from it. Oh yeah, and her girlfriend basically tries to help out too by using her electric tattoos. And it does work if you can get a chance to kiss her and touch her again. Yeah. And basically, if in case you're curious though, is she free to Spark Tunnel? She is. Yeah, and throughout this, basically, we have where Senos basically is, well, deal with Rin and Tagi, and of course we have this really funny scene of basically Senos and, well, her and Maga, where they're basically in their Snow White underwear. And there's stuff inside Aphra's head, and deal with various other people. And the whole thing is to take down basically his aunt. Take on Domain Triggle. Yep. And it turns out that basically they actually took down the other Triggle instead because, well, Santos basically was taking a big way about it. And eventually, of course, she goes to this other place with, of course, with their former companions from the previous volume. And eventually she is freed. How? Excuse me. Then eventually she's freed by Darth Vader. Yes, Darth Vader removes the Spark Returner from her. Who does not kill her. And like the girls are reunited with each other. And of course, well, then we kind of have a little finale here where, by the way, she's got a scar on her chest from being hostess by Eternal. And eventually, of course, basically, like, guess what I saw here? And eventually, of course, and then we see her father show up. A guy who she really wants to punch in the face. And of course, Maga walks out, and then eventually she goes after her. Like, she admits basically her stuff, and Magna forgives her for it. Yep. And then we have where the green hair girl takes the red hair girl and make out, and apparently off screen they had sex. Okay. Yeah, then of course, apparently, like, the blonde girl, I don't remember her name, the guy with him, basically, he proposes to her, and he accepts. Well, she accepts, excuse me. And of course, Santos reveals that she actually loves Dr. Aphra, but she can't sit back. And then the book ends with her taking, well, Luke Skywalker hostage, leading into the events of the final story arc, basically the final issues of this book. Yeah, this book is fantastic. Yeah, Alyssa Wong does an excellent job of this book, and I do recommend it. Yeah, the book, it's like, basically the book was okay for the start of it, but the book gets better before the book even ends. And sadly put, it seems like Alyssa Wong, for some reason, this is like her longest book she's worked on, because I looked up basically Captain Marvel book she's working on. That's at the end of issue 10. And her last book ended issue 10. Like, her last two books. Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool also in issue 10. It's like in the case of Kelly Thompson, like one good character she writes, the Marvel has to keep publishing. Everyone else just keep getting axed. I don't know why, but great book. I'm going to give Ascendant basically a 9 out of 10. Absolute really good book. And next time we discuss this, we'll be discussing the final trade. I only checked out two Marvel books this time. And like basically it's 4 DC and like 2 Marvel. Purely because basically, excuse me, some of these books I really just want to wrap up. So next time, of course, basically for Comic Corner will be the final trade of Dr. Aphra and a Superman book. If you want it soon. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do the dislike button. Next up, basically, is, well, One Piece. And then one more Comic Corner, and after that, it's on to 2 more anime, and that'll be it for, anime, then eventually back to that in front of the slime. Okay? Next video. Bye.